Then, what is the term of office of the president in India? The term of the office of the president in India is 5 years, and he stays in office till his successor takes charge.
Okay. Malav, then you can do the next.
Yeah, 1 minute. Akash, till which question did you finish?
E.
Acha. Yeah. Question 1, F. Who can promulgate an ordinance in India? One minute. I made a mess up here. An ordinance can be promulgated by the president when the house is not in motion. Who are the ministers individually responsible to? I'm not very sure about this, but I've written the ministers are individually responsible to their personal portfolios.
No, they are responsible to the president of India.
Yeah. And for the previous one, the ordinance one, like,
Yeah.
even they can promulgate when they are in motion, right?
Yeah.
So I
You have
guess
to just write president. I don't.
You can just write president because it's 1 mark. Then name the presiding officer of the Rajya Sabha. The presiding officer of the Rajya Sabha is the Vice President of India. Name any two writs issued by the Supreme Court. I got only one. Habeas corpus. And the second one.
Over.
Thought you were
mandamus in prohibition. Yeah.
1 second. Okay. Last one. What do you mean by advisory jurisdiction of the Supreme Court? I did not get this, but I've still written something. I've written advisory jurisdiction of the Supreme Court is the jurisdiction which advises the judges on certain cases.
I
think you have to mention it in the matters requiring interpretation of the Constitution or matters of public interest.
I wrote legal advice which can be followed if it can or cannot be followed by the person it's given to.
Yeah, but I think the key word is required. I don't know the key.
In the textbook, like it is the 2 points now was that any matter that the president recommends, and second pre-constitutional treaty.
Yeah, so I wrote advisory jurisdiction is where the Supreme Court provides legal advice to the president which he may choose to or not to follow.
Others, what I got written?
I don't. It can give its opinion on any question of law and matters of public interest.
Yeah, I guess all are correct. Now question 2, 1 to 5, Manvi, you can do.
Okay. Question 2. Who founded the Satyashodha Samaj in 1873 and what's its aim? It was started by Jyotirao Phule and its aim was to strengthen the position of the depressed and lower classes of society. Then B. Name the precursor's of the International Congress, the Indian Association and East India Association. Then C.
Do we have to write the name or do we have to write the name of the association? Like I have written Dadabhai Naoroji and Surendranath Banerjee. Yeah, I wrote founded by. I don't go with Indian Association founded by Surendranath Banerjee and East India Association founded by Dadabhai. And I wrote only the name.
I wrote all both together.
I think to be safe, you could write both. Founded by.
Yeah, precursors mean the organization or the people who founded that. I don't know.
Precursor basically means the one who, the forerunner.
So I guess the organization and the person.
Yeah, organization and the person is a better answer.
Yeah. Then C, mention any two social changes propagated by Raja Mohan Rai. He helped abolish practice of sati. He condemned polygamy. He fought against Raja. Then name the first and second president of Indian National Congress. The first was W.C. Banerjee and second was Dadabhai Navroji. E, what was the main objective of a certain nationalist?
Where do you get the first and second? The president.
It's not given in our textbook,
It's given.
but Miss had given it.
No, it's given in
Miss
the
had given
textbook also.
It's given. In nationalism ka last part, where that below that AO.
It's like a table. Yeah.
Along with the location, it is given.
It's given, yeah. Second presidentship was Dadabhai and first is W.C. Banerjee. Then main objective of certain nationalists. The main objective of certain nationalists was for the attainment of Swaraj and complete independence. Actually, it's only Swaraj now, so 2 more.
Yeah.
If for this
Yeah,
answer,
but this answer was for 2 marks, so I didn't understand
Yeah.
why they asked it.
I wrote this part. They wish to have more Indians in the administration and they boycotted foreign goods to support Indian industries.
yeah, the
Yeah, even I
first
wrote
point you
about
said now
industry.
the like higher positions, like more positions.
Yeah.
Like that's the main point written like after the subheading of aims and objectives of the certain.
I took this from Methods of a Certain National.
Yeah, the first line of that is that thing, I guess.
Yeah.
I wrote attainment of Swaraj, which means complete independence and not like the self-governing colonies of UK.
Yeah. But the thing was, they asked main objective, so I think
Yeah,
we
yeah.
just need to emphasize on the first point only.
Yeah, so that and larger share of Indians in the administration.
I never read that paragraph.
So we guess, I guess we had both the points, or we had
2 marks.
more.
Main objective is Swaraj, but it's still 2 marks.
Yeah, and the second one is the largest chef of for Indians in the administration of their country.
Cool.
Then, what were the main objectives of to organize an armed rebellion and to fight the British Army with modern arms, to totally mobilize Indian manpower required for war and to save money for total war.
He
Mention-
at the point unity, faith, and sacrifice.
Yeah, but that's a motto. That's not really
Yeah.
an objective.
Coming
Yeah.
under
Yeah, but it's written in
It's written.
objective only.
yeah.
The fifth.
Okay, the contributions of Subhash Chandra Bose, there's a paragraph, right?
To just pick, like,
But
I wrote
that's,
he
Yeah.
formed the forward bloc and he took charge of the Indian Independence League and Indian National League.
Yeah, when I wrote he formed the forward block, and secondly I wrote he leaded the INA.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
there was this, once this question came for 4 marks.
So it's a very big para. You will easily find 4.
but
then
the
you have to
paragraph is
write
nothing
the
like
whole
the
paragraph.
contributions. It's like his timeline and the
Yeah,
timeline is
that's just what he did when he went to Japan.
Yeah.
Like, what
Like
he
it-
done. That's not really a contribution.
at the end of the chapter the points na summary ka. So I got from there like he gave many mottos like Delhi chalo and give me blood and I'll give you freedom and that thing, and then I also wrote that he gained territory of the Swaraj and Shahid Islands, like those, the 4 points.
At the back. I don't.
He gained Andaman and Nicobar, na, so he named them Swaraj and Shahid.
Yeah.
Then, what did the Quit India resolution state? It's stated that British rule in India must end immediately.
How is this for 2 marks, right?
Exactly.
I wrote
Yeah.
one more thing.
This
I
was
wrote,
also for 2 marks.
I wrote they wanted nothing short of independence and established that there was no going back on this decision.
I wrote
Yeah.
But then did you write the statement?
What?
state.
That fella wala,
It's
yeah.
given,
Yeah.
no, yeah, it's given in double quotes.
Yeah, but still, it's just 1 point. I wrote, due to the threat of Japanese invasion, the British should leave India.
should we like also write like it was adopted at Wardha and then at Mumbai and then because it's for 2 marks, so what should we write as?
I wrote the Quit India resolution called upon the British to quit India and if the demands were not conceded to face a non-violent mass uprising under the leadership of Gandhi.
Okay.
I think you can write the causes like Japanese invasion and famine.
I think this will be fine with anything because it's just like one time.
Just a little bit
States.
of extra.
How did Serbia respond to Austria's 11 demands, which accepted all of Austria's demands except the ones which would lead to loss of the sovereignty? And the J named the countries again.
That is only for 1 mark, but
I wrote one more thing. I wrote on refusal of the exception of these demands, Austria declared war on Serbia.
But they are actually for Serbia.
But then that
Yeah, I know. But then like what else can you write?
But I don't think this can come for 2 marks.
Then they'll give 2 marks.
no, I guess we can also write that they made alliances with Russia and
Yeah,
Russia helped.
Yeah.
And Germany with Austria, right?
I think we should also give a background, na, that why did Austria like they had to give an ultimatum.
Yeah, I can do that.
Acha, okay. But that will be a very long answer.
They
Then.
won't ask
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
what exactly you're
Yeah,
just writing
but
the
then-
entire needed cause.
I don't know, last question.
Yeah, name the countries that gained complete independence: Poland, Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, and Belgium.
What?
Wait, what?
Poland, Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, and Belgium.
What? Repeat it one last time. What was
The last one?
the Yeah.
Belgium, Poland, Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia.
The Yugoslavia.
Oh, I wrote Bulgaria.
I wrote Denmark.
There are various different countries given on
Right,
Google and like it's different in the textbook.
Yeah,
Textbook.
exactly.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
But Poland, I thought it would anyways be free. Like, okay. In Belgium,
I guess the territory returned back to them. That's why they just became weird. Anyway,
now question 3. Natasha, your turn. You can do the whole question, right?
The parliament is a body which is representatives of supreme power of governments in democratic country. In this context, describe the following. Describe adjournment motion. Adjournment motion is a formal proposal to lay aside all other matters and take up a matter of urgent importance. It could be proposed at the sudden death of a group of persons or national threat, etc. I don't know how this is for 3 marks though.
I wrote one more point. The adjournment motion is used to censure the acts of omission and commission of the ministers.
Yeah, when I heard that.
it interrupts the normal working of the parliament.
I give the 2 examples like that of unlicensed liquor and
Yeah.
Or a terrorist attack.
That's ministers can each, that's like control of executive.
Yeah, but
That's okay. I mean, yeah, it's the same thing for adjournment motion.
But I guess we have to write
But
all the 4
I don't
points then.
think the examples out there.
What?
I mean, all textbooks won't have examples, right?
The textbook has examples. It's given 3 for example.
It has many examples.
Okay, next one. What are the exclusive powers of the Lok Sabha? The money bill can be introduced and passed only in the Lok Sabha. The council of ministers are collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha, which is why a motion of no confidence can only originate and be passed in Lok Sabha. And in a dispute arising over an ordinary bill, the will of the Lok Sabha usually prevails due to strength in numbers.
The 3 points, huh?
Yeah. Natasha, the C pass.
Yeah, Stepa. State the composition of the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Lok Sabha maximum strength is 552 members. Not more than 530 members shall represent the states, and not more than 20 members shall represent the union territories. Few members can be nominated by the president in the Anglo-Indian community in case he feels that the community has not been well represented. Rajya Sabha maximum strength is 250 members. 238 members are elected from the legislative assemblies of the state on the basis of population, and 12 members are nominated by the president from persons having special knowledge or practical experience in subjects such as literature, art, science, and social studies.
Yeah.
Hi Tisha. We started discussing like around 10 minutes ago, like we were at finished. So,
Acha, okay.
yeah, we reached question 3.
We finished questions.
Go ahead.
For the 238 members, you also have to write the union territories, right?
You can.
What's the number? No, there's no number.
No,
You just have to say it will be prescribed according to Parliament.
According to Parliament.
we're on question 4 now. And Ria, it's your turn.
Yeah. What you? Sorry, wait, I have the wrong page. Yeah, state the qualifications for election of the president. Must be an Indian citizen, must have completed 35 years of age, must be eligible to be elected to the Lok Sabha. What are the reasons for indirect election of the president? If the president were elected directly by the people of India, he would become a rival center of power for the Council of Ministers, which is against the parliamentary system of ministerial responsibility. And second point is the membership of the two houses of parliament is likely to be dominated by one party. And if the election of the president is done only by a majority of the members of parliament, the president will become a nominee of the ruling party, like the prime minister, and will not represent the entire country. Third point is the president is elected by an electoral college consisting of elected members of both houses of parliament and elected members of state legislative assemblies, including National Capital Territory of Delhi and Union Territory of Puducherry. Such a president represents the entire nation, giving a clear voice to the state system. The third question mentioned the circumstances when the president can declare one national emergency. If the president is convinced that a grave situation exists wherein the safety of India or any part of the territory is being threatened by external aggression, internal rebellion, war, insurgency, etc., he may proclaim a state of national emergency provided he has a written approval from the Union Cabinet. Circumstances when he can declare financial emergency: if the president is convinced that the financial stability or credit feasibility of the nation is compromised, he may declare financial emergency.
You reading it from the textbook or what?
No.
Yeah.
For finance.
So
I have a question for the qualifications of president. You can write some from the Lok Sabha, like his name should be in the electoral.
Yeah, I wrote electoral rolls.
If you can write now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. You can write because they have just
I
written
just
must be a
wrote,
member of the Lok Sabha.
Lok Sabha.
Exactly.
No, wait, I asked Shrishti, Mrs. if we are supposed to write all the qualifications for Lok Sabha, and she's like, no, you're only supposed to write that they have to be eligible to the Lok Sabha.
No, they are saying instead of that, can they write an qualification?
You can add 1-2 points from the Lok Sabha.
Yeah, but then
You know.
that would be an extra. Wouldn't it be easier to just write 1 point than make it so lengthy?
No.
What if you don't remember it?
Exactly. I don't remember the Lok Sabha points, so I'll just write the Lok Sabha thing.
Make it so lengthy. Have you seen your answers?
And for the financial one, there are 2 points or what? Like, there's only one I got.
There are 2 points. No, there's 1 point. No. Credit
1
feasibility and financial stability.
Financial
Yeah.
stability.
Yeah, but the last question is like, this 2-2 or it's 3-1? Like, the
No, it's 2-2.
What is
2-2.
credit?
2 but still they'll give it. There's nothing else.
It's a setback to the some financial thing.
Yeah.
What is credit feasibility?
It's fine. That is by heart.
Any other doubts in question 4? Anyone?
Nope.
So question 5, Roshni.
I didn't attempt question 5.
Okay. Tisha, you did question 5.
No, but like I can say the answers.
Sure. Okay.
So, state the qualifications required to be a judge of the Supreme Court. Need to be a citizen of India. Need to have been for at least 5 years a judge of the High Court or 2 or more such courts in succession. Need to have been for at least 10 years an advocate of the High Court or 2 or more such courts in succession. And then to be, in the opinion of the president, a distinguished jurist.
A doubt, like in between all of these points, you're writing or like how you're writing that?
I'll write all.
Yeah, you have to write
You
all
should
of
write
them.
points,
Given
no?
that way only in the textbook.
Yeah. Okay.
Write points.
No, but like the last 3 points, they are like, you need to be
You can
only
either
one
be
of
do this.
them.
Oh yeah.
Explain appellate jurisdiction and with examples. Appellate jurisdiction means that the Supreme Court has the power to grant special leave to appeal against the judgment delivered by any other court in the country. And then what do they mean by examples?
And it can take place.
I guess the 3 like
criminal,
criminal, civil,
I
and
think they mean like civil case, criminal case.
Or criminal cases.
Yeah.
So then everything that's certificate of the High Court and all that. That's very lumbar.
yeah, we include all the like two examples or what?
Write 2 examples.
One is that.
Yeah, so for each we have to explain when the High Court certifies and when it does not. Like it will become too long then.
That is a
Yeah,
10 marker, right?
For civil cases,
Yeah,
we can just say that when the High Court certificate is given, what happens, and when it's not there, what happens in like 2 lines. And then same for criminal, like pura. I don't think I write pura.
Then how will you explain in 2 lines?
Yeah, it won't be possible.
And it's a 3 marker, so low. Technically, this should be a 4 marker.
I guess we can only write one example of it. No idea.
I think we just have to write criminal cases, civil cases, and then when
Yeah,
High Court
that's it,
certifies
yeah.
and when it does not. Don't give only specification.
Even that makes sense, but then Srishti Miss won't say na ki
Yeah.
your road so less.
Constitutional civil cases ka points are exactly the same. One is just given in point 1, one is given in statement.
The civil and the constitution, right?
Yeah, those 2 are same.
But the criminal is like it's too long.
But you just have to write ki when you need a certificate and then you just write all others you don't need a certificate.
Okay. The C party.
Should I go to the next one?
Yeah.
Cool. What do you understand by court of record? What are its implications? A court of record means that the judgments of the Supreme Court are preserved as record. These records serve in the nature of precedents, which means that a lower court is required to give a similar judgment in a similar case. Its implications are that all the judgments and orders developed by the Supreme Court are preserved as record and they serve as precedents. And the Supreme Court should have all the powers of such a court, which includes the power to punish for contempt of itself.
You missed one point in court of record definition. It is that its judgment cannot be questioned in any subordinate court.
Yeah.
Cool. Question 6 now.
I don't think anybody attempted that.
Yeah. It's too long.
I'll say it then.
And anyways, B is not in question.
I'll say the answer.
But B is that pig thing, no? Like they had the pigs meal, which was there in the right.
Yeah.
So first, what do you understand by General Service Enlistment Act, and why did the Indians resent it? General Service Enlistment Act was introduced by the British, stating that the Indian soldiers can be asked to perform duty outside India in other countries too. It was a taboo for the Brahmins to cross the seas. This act did not take into regard the sentiment of the Indians. It was very difficult for the Indian Brahmins. They became angry at this decision of the British. This was considered as a military cause for the revolt of 1857. I wrote that. Then B part, I wrote that I wrote in points that required to be peel of the grease. It became it was it, There were rumors that it was made of cow and pig fat. It was a taboo for the Hindus. The cow was a taboo for the Hindus, and pigs was a taboo for the Muslims. And it was imagined to cause Barakpur Mangal Pandey. That part.
Do we have that in potion? Because it's immediate cause now.
No, we don't have.
Not there.
You learned that also?
Miss Star stood on the
We did.
timeline, na. So and it's Mangal, so I learned that. So, explain the following doctrine of lapse. Doctrine of lapse was introduced by Lord Dalhousie to expand the political empire of British India. It meant uh, that if an Indian king died without a male natural heir, then his territory would lapse, that is, fall into the territory of the British. Uh, is it fine for 2 marks? This answer.
Yeah,
I
but
think
you
You
should
could
also,
mention Rani of Jhansi.
yeah, you should
Okay.
give examples.
Okay.
Well, Rani of Jhansi, it will become like a
Yeah,
1.5 page
No,
answer.
not Rani of Jati. You can give example that some states annexed by doctrine of lapse were. Then
Sambalpur,
Jhansi,
Jaipur,
Saputara.
Udaipur.
Yeah, you can just mention the states which that happened in.
Sambalpur,
Yeah.
Jaipur, Udaipur. Then
Yeah, Nagpur,
alleged
all of
misrule.
that you can.
In 1856, Lord Dalhousie annexed Awadh on the pretext of alleged misrule. They proclaimed that Awadh was being misgoverned and British rule was required to regain stability for the good of the governed. They were required to pay more taxes under the British rule and uh, misuse of the power of the British.
Are we supposed to mention the impact also, like the soldiers' financial stability, and then the soldiers resented it because, they had the British and everything, and now they all
Two
anti.
marks.
So we can like
Yeah,
give
but
that
I
as an
think you
example.
should still mention one or two.
One of those, yeah, under K2.
Yeah, we can give one. Yeah. Question
I can do
7.
question 9 because I didn't do question 8. Okay, did anybody do question 8?
I did question it.
I didn't know the B part, but I knew the other two.
Now it's question 7. Who wants to do question 7?
Yeah.
Anyone?
I can do.
Okay. Now go ahead now.
Question 7. The second half of the 19th century witnessed the growth of a strong feeling of nationalism. With reference to statement, answer the following. A. What was the second set of methods adopted by the early nationalists? I know only two. One is petitions, prayers, and protests were sent to the government for reforms, and deputations of Indian nationalist leaders were sent to Britain to propagate nationalism. What was the third one?
The British committee was set from the Indian.
Yeah, and you should also mention the aim, right?
Yeah.
I just wrote the 3 points.
Yeah,
Aim
the
and
aims
one.
is not required.
Yeah, it's not required.
It was set up in London.
It published a weekly journal called India.
Okay, second question. Identify the person given below and mention any two of his contributions. It's Bal Gangadhar Tilak. He set up Home Rule League in Pune, and he was the first one to demand Swaraj or complete independence. He also wrote, he also published Kesari or something like that. C. Mention any two contributions, each of Bipin Chandra Pal and Lala Lajpat Rai. Bipin Chandra Pal demanded that education be the base of the nationalist movement and demanded 40 hours of work a week and an increase in wages, advocated for the education of women. Lala Lajpat Rai joined the Ghadar party in USA. He also went to the US to propagate nationalism. He was a social reformer. He was instrumental in setting up of the DAV college in Lahore. He set up orphanages, hospitals, blah blah blah. Yeah, okay. Who wants to do question 8?
Question 8. Anyone? So one part anyone can do.
I'll do question. Okay, so I'll do question 8A, but I want to do question 9.
I attempted to estimate.
What?
I attempted question 8. Why didn't you all? It was easy.
Same, it was easy, but then I didn't know the second.
Dandi March,
Yeah.
Yeah, Dandi March.
But I didn't know much about it.
You want me to discuss
8A, someone do 8B, someone do 8C, someone do.
Okay, I'll do 8.
I can do B or C.
I can do one of them, either B or C.
So Roshni A and Riya B and Tisha C.
Cool.
Okay, Gandhiji introduced new ideas in politics and adopted new methods to give a new direction to the political movement. In this context, answer the following questions. Name the leaders of the Khilafat movement. What did the Khilafat movement intend to achieve? The leaders of the Khilafat movement included the Ali brothers, Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali, Maulana Azad, Mahatma Gandhi, and others. The Khilafat movement was a powerful agitation started by the Muslims in India. It demanded that the Britishers, firstly, must allow the Caliph to retain his empire. Secondly, must give the Caliph enough land in order to defend the Islamic faith. And thirdly, the Arab lands, which is Arabia, Syria, Iraq, and Palestine, must remain under Muslim rule.
The leaders, like, isn't Gandhiji none, like, there should be, like,
I know, but he was a president, right? So
isn't it Muhammad Ali, Shaukat Ali, Maulana Azad, Hakim Ajmal Khan, and Hazrat Muhammad?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, those are the leaders.
But do we mention Gandhiji because he made them do the non-cooperation?
Yeah, exactly.
So we can say what did the movement want to achieve. That there we can say na Gandhiji wanted to establish, headed this movement in India because he saw in it an opportunity to unity between Muslim and Hindus.
Yeah. But then will that be too much? Because it's only a 2-hour paper now.
That's an extra point, I guess.
It's just
Yeah.
The event shown given in the picture below marked the beginning of the civil disobedience movement. Explain the
Priya, louder. I can't hear you.
Yeah, so wait. The event shown given in the picture below marked the beginning of the civil disobedience movement. Explain the event in detail. The event given in the picture is the Dandi March. Gandhiji served on the British government an 11-point ultimatum. After waiting in vain for their response, he started a march from Sabarmati Ashram to Dandi, a village on the Gujarat sea coast. A number of people followed him. On arriving at Dandi, Gandhiji picked up some salt left by the sea waves, thus breaking the salt laws and launching the civil disobedience movement. Gandhiji chose to attack the salt laws because it affected all sections of society, especially the poor.
Then the third one. Gandhiji represented Congress in the second roundtable conference. The conference was soon deadlocked on the issues of separate electorates. Separate electorates were being demanded now not only for the Muslims but also for the labor leaders, the Sikhs, the Anglo-Christians, and the Anglo-Indians and the Indian Christians. The question of the setting up of a responsible government of India faded in the background. The British refused to concede to the immigrant grant for dominion status for India. Thus, Gandhiji returned to India disappointed.
Yeah.
Now, question 9.
Can I do?
Okay.
Roshni, you want to do question 9?
Yeah, cool. You can do. I'll do C. Wanna do?
Okay. I'll do A and B.
Yeah, cool.
Name the two rival blocs that fought against each other during the World War One, and name its signatory countries. The Triple Alliance consists of Austria-Hungary, Italy, and Germany, and the Triple, I can't pronounce that word, Russia, England, and France. Then B mentions the clauses under the Treaty of Versailles which benefited France. Germany would have to supply huge amounts of coal to France and Belgium for 10 years. Germany had to give away Alsace and Lorraine back to France, and the coal mines in Saar were given to France for 15 years.
Wait, I have a doubt. When they say the two blocks, do they mean Allied powers and Central powers?
They said World War One. So
So Allied powers and Central powers, or
Yeah.
Triple Alliance and Triple
I
Alliance?
wrote Triple Alliance.
I think Triple Alliance and Triple
Yeah, I
Alliance.
wrote Triple Alliance.
Because
Yeah,
Allied
Triple
and
Alliance and
Axis
Triple
powers are like formed towards the end of the World War.
I wrote both.
I
Yeah,
wrote-
I wrote both.
I wrote Central and the Allied powers.
Yeah.
But that was like in World War Two.
No,
Yeah,
I was in
like,
World War One.
World
like the
War
blocks became solidified after Italy like switched places, right?
That was like immediate.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
but like the Allied
No, no.
powers is exactly the
England left and stuff, no? And then
No,
British came and then.
Italy switched alliances, and after
Yeah.
that, the proper blocks became formed.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
So Italy backstabbed, Sarajevo crisis happened, and then when the war began, then they fixated on who was
Yeah.
allied to this
yeah, but which are they referring to?
country.
Yeah, they are referring to Triple Alliance and Triple Entity because I think it's World War One now.
yeah,
That time Italy was
See,
still
this is what the allied powers and the central powers are also World War One. Okay?
in,
But like
in
to
World
the
War II
question,
it
it
is
seems
Allied and
more
Axis.
appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you also it is written like during World War One, so I guess it's Central and Allied.
Are they right both now? That's what I.
Yeah, it's okay to say.
But Italy will be the odd one out there. Where should we include Italy?
Are they? You include Italy in?
You can say Italy left the triple entente. No, the triple alliance and went to the central power.
Yeah, but this is only
Yeah.
But if they are asking in reference to World War One, like in this chapter, Central and Allied aren't even mentioned in that chapter.
Exactly, it's
Yeah,
mentioned towards the ending of World War One.
So like I don't think school will,
Like
give them.
as soon as the cancellations begin in the World War One chapter, like it's the second sentence of
Exactly, yeah.
like it's the cancellation part, but I don't know.
If we write also, it'll be awkward because Italy will be,
Yeah,
that's
opposite.
what,
No, but then you can like write about.
You can just mention that.
Yeah, you can write the Triple Alliance, the Triple Entente. Then you can write that Italy attacked Germany, breaking the Triple Alliance, and then the second bloc were formed. Central and
Just
Allied.
see the last para just says Britain, France, Russia, and the Allies were called Allied powers, while Germany, Austria, and the Allies were called Central powers. That's the last.
They don't mention Italy.
Yes, it would.
Then the
It's like one sentence in the end of our cancel portion, so I don't think it's that important. In World War II, it became more prominent. So in World War II, you should mention Central.
no, but in World War II, the blocs were Russia and USA.
I don't think we have USA in that much detail at all because we don't have
Yeah,
power,
it's not.
we don't have anything.
It's a small answer. We can do both the things.
In World War II, there are Axis powers.
Axis and Allied. Yeah.
Like access and all.
C part.
Okay, I wrote a lot. Okay, nationalism is the field. Okay, what is describe nationalism? Explain nationalism and imperialism. Nationalism is the feeling of unity developed among people sharing common history. Common history, culture and language. This feeling of nationalism turned to extreme pride and extreme nationalism, where people loved one's own nation and developed hatred for other countries. They cared only for their own national interests and did not care for the interests of other nations. Countries began to adopt expansionist policies in the name of nationalism, and military strength became synonymous with prestige and power. Imperialism is a state policy or practice where a powerful country establishes its control over other countries either through direct territorial acquisition or by gaining political and economic influence. The colonies proved useful for agricultural land, cheap labor, raw materials, and trading ports. Is that enough? Should I say more, or that's enough?
Too much.
It's too much, yeah.
I think can someone discuss B again?
The B part.
Yeah.
There's this Tsar, and then there is Alsace-Lorraine, and like lots of coal for France and Belgium.
Yeah, you could give me that one, like the reparations and the merchant ships to the Allied powers, because France was one.
Yeah, part of Ireland.
Yeah, so I wrote
But it's
Romans
specific,
needed a
no?
merchant ship to the Allies and had to give $33 billion. So is that right?
That's exactly what I'm asking, because
But
France
that's
is part of the
But
Allies.
I think they meant it specifically.
you can like say that France was to accept money like from Germany for some
but
years.
see, technically,
Were
France benefits
Germany's
in all
pre-war
cases.
territories given to France?
Alsace-Lorraine.
Yeah, it's just about.
Yeah, but any other territories?
It's not
Yeah,
mentioned.
there were others.
Yeah, but then like almost all the points like benefited France. Now even their reduction of their military and all benefited.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's all indirect.
that's not only
Yeah.
that's to like many countries, not only France.
Yeah.
I guess the 3 points which was at
What is the third point?
I
See,
think
coal mines of the German area of Saar were given to France. Then coal, yeah, Alsace-Lorraine, and then coal for 10 years was given to France, Belgium.
I think was there one Rhine Valley was demilitarized and was allowed France
Yeah.
to use for some years. something like
Not
that.
France, but it was just the Allied troops.
Allied.
But see again, France benefited.
we can
But
say
there
that,
are 3 separate points mentioning France. You should write those instead of writing Allied.
yeah, and we can say that as France was the like the head of the Allied powers. I think like if you want to include all the general points, and we can write I think especially was helpful for France because it was the head of the Allied powers.
So here there is one more point. Germany ceded parts of a pre-war territory to Denmark, Belgium, Poland, Czechoslovakia, and France.
I think more specific than that is the Alsace-Lorraine point. Like those are specific
Yeah,
territories.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything remaining?
Question 10. No?
Question
Yeah.
10's left.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Anyone wants to do question 10 full or ABC?
I can do 10A.
I can't do any of the 10.
I'll do 10C.
Yeah, so Ria, you do 10B then. Huh?
Yeah, okay.
So should I go ahead with 10A?
Yeah.
The League of Nations was formed after World War I in order to prevent other future wars from occurring. However, the League suffered an early blow and the USA declined to join the League. All the countries which did join the League were also not interested in the principle of collective security. The League succeeded in allaying the threat of wars only in cases where the powers involved were small countries. However, it did nothing when the threat of war arose between two major powers. The League did nothing when Poland, with the backing of France, seized a part of Lithuania in 1923. There was a threat of war between Italy and Greece. Italy refused to submit to the League's interventions. The crisis was solved by the direct mediation of Great Britain and France. Thereafter, the authority of the League was defied and ignored in every crisis. The authority of the League was defied by Poland when it seized Lithuania, and by Poland and seized Lithuania. When Poland seized Lithuania and when Japan seized Manchuria, the coercive machinery of the League was not adequate to perform the task which it was given. The economic sanctions were of no use against a determined aggressor. Moreover, the member states were not willing to apply the economic sanctions since it affected their economy as well. Thereafter, the countries of Europe lost faithfulness in the use of the League and entered into mutual political and military alliances by themselves.
Are you reading from the textbook?
Yeah.
No, but I think it's too much. Then if we write...
Yeah, it's too much. We wouldn't get time to write all.
I think we can just create 3 precise points.
Yeah, 3 points.
Yeah, we can do the economic sanctions,
Economic
the principle of collective security, and then we can give one example.
The
No
one
example
example
is also not required.
Important.
Just say coercive machinery thing.
Yeah, And also when Italy attacked Abyssinia, but we
Yeah.
failed to do anything.
I guess it can be like the teacher like wants to look at all the different points, so we should like state all the points, but like one.
Yeah, but make it up precise.
You get time.
I think this is one of the longer answers because even the textbook it's given long. I didn't get how to divide it into points because everything has some example.
Ethiopia also, no? Who conquered Ethiopia?
Italy.
Yeah, Ethiopia, Abyssinia, same.
B question: how did the Japanese invasion of China become a cause for the Second World War? Japan's ambitions rose after World War I and she became determined to conquer the Far East. Japan occupied Manchuria and set up a government there despite opposition from the League. That's first point. Japan started an undeclared war against China. And Japan left the League of Nations. Japan joined the Berlin-Rome axis to form the Berlin-Rome-Tokyo axis to further her expansion and colonization, and Japan began occupying British and American properties in China.
Yeah. You can say policy for peace now.
But we don't have to.
That's cancelled.
Oh, but like,
But it's mentioned in the change.
yeah.
And we can also write that.
They didn't want to impose economic sanctions because it would affect their business, so they themselves enter into military.
Yeah.
And that point also like even though China was allied with the Allied powers, that didn't get the colonies of
Yeah, because this would have them to control China's power.
yeah.
Or Japan. Okay.
See?
Over here, basically, there's declare sanctions, Berlin-Rome-Tokyo axis, and
Undeclared war against China, right?
Also Manchuria.
Then war became inevitable in such conditions. Then war.
Can I move on to the C?
Yeah.
Identify the logo given and name its major agencies along with the expansion of the abbreviation system. The logo is the UN emblem. The three major agencies would be the WHO, World Health Organization, UNESCO, United Nations, and UNESCO, and scientific organization, and UNICEF,
Cultural.
United Nations Educational, Cultural, and Scientific.
Yeah.
That's
Educational, scientific, and cultural.
And UNICEF would be United Nations Children's.
International Children's Education.
Would it be that or would it be? I have it like would it be United Nations Children's Fund or would it be United Nations International Children?
I think both are.
Yeah, in the bracket was given out of that.
Yeah, Miss told that we should write
I think
both are acceptable.
emergency. I think United Nations Children's Fund was the old one. You need to write the International Children's Emergency Fund.
United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund.
you're on mute.
And in UNESCO, it is and cultural organization, not only
Yeah.
cultural organization.